Well, hi, my name is Matt Flavor with 97 Technology, and today we are going to be looking at why cloud file sharing isn't good enough for your sensitive data. No, it's not. Okay, let's take a look at the slides. First, we have a lot of challenges to cloud file sharing. First, the data breach risk footprint is much larger with cloud file sharing, and we'll take a look at all these in the next few slides. Where's my data? Where is your data? Can you touch your data? Right now with my server, I can turn around and touch my data. We use on-prem file sharing through 97 Technology WebDesk files. I can touch my data right now. It's behind me. Where's your data when you store it in the cloud? Who knows? Things are going to get expensive with cloud-based file sharing. It is a fact of life. The cloud service provider is not there as a charity. They're there to make money, and they're going to make things expensive for you. Getting locked up. Yeah, you're going to get your data locked into a cloud service provider, and you're going to be stuck there. And system outages as well. Let's just take a deeper look in this, shall we? Data breach footprint. What do we mean by a data breach footprint? We mean the number of bad actors your system is exposed to. Now, I was trying to find more bad actors for the on-premise system. I could only find one. I could only find insider threats for the on-premise system. Basically, they have to have access to your building. They have to badge you in. They have to be able to log in. They have to be able to access an Ethernet port. Blah blah blah. All the other stuff, That's about it for an on-premise, file sharing system. But for the cloud system, well, you've got other system users. Maybe some genius somewhere has found a way to traverse into your company's environment from their company's environment, and well, you get a big problem there. Maybe they're copying data over from your environment. Cloud employees. We all know several years ago, Capital One had a data breach that was instigated by a cloud contractor. The cloud employees basically have deep, intimate knowledge of the system and its encryption and its security protocols and everything else. They have an easy way into your system, essentially. They are the brains behind the system. They have an easy way into your system. You're trusting the cloud service provider is vetting those guys and is, properly managing the systems, but who knows? You don't really know. Competitors. What if a competitor finds a way into your system? It's almost the same other system users, really. A competitor could indeed find a way into your system. They may silently exfiltrate some data. They make a jump on some new product and release that product before you. Guess what? You're out of business. That's a reality. That's a reality of data exfiltration. If you have a targeted attack against your company from a competitor who exfiltrates data, they can use that data to get ahead of you. Simple as that. And external attackers as well. External attackers could be, advanced persistent threats. It could be state-run actors. It could be all kinds of problems out there. They're going to target your system. They may be targeting not your system, but some other system in the clouds. Maybe you obviously share a system with a certain government agency, which is unpopular. If that gets attacked by a DDoS attack or something, guess what? Your system's going down as well, and you're an innocent party in this whole thing. There is a big data breach risk footprint with the cloud. End of story. You eliminate a lot of this by going on-premise. Where is my data? Good darn question. You store something in let's say you store something in, we'll pick on AWS S3. Do you know where your data is? Can you actually touch your data? I have no, we store stuff in S3 sometimes. I have absolutely no clue where our data is. I think it's somewhere in Virginia, but I have no clue where our data is. That becomes a problem with data sovereignty and compliance. What if some judge somewhere suddenly says, hey, you've got to bring all your data on-prem, or you have to keep all your data in the state of California, or you have to keep all your data here or there? What happens when that happens? You got to get your data out of the cloud service provider. And if you have terabytes and terabytes of data, that's going to be a really big problem for your company. I mean, you may just pay the fines and be done with it, because you may not actually be able to comply in situations like that. Who has physical access to your data? Big question. What if some contractor at the cloud service provider copies your data onto a thumb drive, walks away with it? Well, it may be encrypted, but maybe they find a way to break the encryption. Maybe next year they will find a way to break the encryption. If that's the case, physical access to the data means everything. If it's on-prem, you have physical access to the data. If it's off-prem, you don't know who's copied that data. It may be random numbers now, but in 6 months' time, who knows? It may not be random numbers. Somebody may be able to decrypt that data, and then you're going to be in big problems if that's secret data that's controlled by the government. Where is my data copied? Okay, the cloud provider may be giving you, 5 nines, 6 nines, 8 nines availability, something crazy like that. Do you know where they're copying that data? I don't. Do you have assurance that it's keeping it in a certain geographic area? No, we don't. We're just taking their word for it. That's kind of scary stuff, especially when you're talking about controlled data. Things are going to get expensive. It's a little bit like getting married, I guess. Things are going to get really expensive really quick. You want reliability? It's going to cost you. Yep. So we're going to take this example here of we have an office and we have a cloud service provider and we want to be up 24/7, 365, no interruptions, no days off, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. Okay. And the CEO has said, this has to happen, and we're going to save money by going to cloud and all that stuff. Okay. So, communication costs. Realistically, we need 3 separate links using 3 different technologies to access that cloud service provider, just in case one technology goes down or if one system goes down, say. So we'd have we'd have a cable provider, then we'd have maybe a 5G backup and maybe a satellite Starlink backup as well. So we have 3 different technologies there of 3 different service providers. If the cable goes down, then we've got 2 backups. If 5G goes down, we've got Starlink. If the all 3 go down, it's probably a global apocalypse, and we're not going to bother about saving the business at that point. So, for redundancy, 3 different communication links over 3 different technologies. Data transfer costs. So we can't really trust the cloud service provider. So we're going to have both. Let's say we'll have like AWS and GCP, and we're going to mirror the data between those two fellas. Doing that. Okay, but you're mirroring data between the providers, so you're incurring data transfer costs. You're not really starting to save money at this point. You're starting to use the gray zone. The CEO is going to be asking, well, you're supposed to be saving money with this thing, and why is the cloud service provider costing so much? Well, because you have 2 cloud service providers now. Storage costs. You're paying to keep your data. I hate to say it, your data is now hostage to these 2 cloud service providers, and you better pay your bill, otherwise the data gets it. You know what I'm saying? And service costs is one. Now you're paying for 2 cloud service providers and all the jazz that goes with that. So it's getting a lot more expensive than throwing a few servers in a data center. I have to say that. Getting locked up and escape is impossible. Well, yeah. So you've just started and you're generating data and then you start to generate terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data, and you're throwing it all into the cloud service provider of your choice. More data equals more cost. Period. And you're trusting people, you're trusting your cloud service provider to basically control that data and to be 100% in control of that data. Well, they may not be, and you could lose that data. You could lose the data through either not paying your storage bill, or someone could fat finger something at the cloud service provider. It's happened before. And you could have lost data. Lost data, lost business, possibly government fines. Yep, you're in a lot of trouble there. Maybe you want to move to another provider. You want to save money by moving to another provider. It's going to cost more money to get that data out of your cloud service provider. Realistically, maybe if you've got 500 terabytes of data at your cloud service provider, are you really going to get the data out? No. Simple as that. You're locked into your cloud service provider. If it was on-prem, it'd be sitting right behind you. You wouldn't have to get it out. It'd be already on-prem. It'd be sitting right behind you in a data center. Because it's off-prem and you want to move it somewhere else, you're going to feel the sting. Simple as that. System outages. The cloud has a lot of moving parts, including different customers and different threat levels of those customers, and some of the customers may not be particularly liked on your system, and some of the customers maybe the world loves them, but that's the problem right there. Is if someone attacks one of your customers, they could create a whole system outage at the whole cloud service provider. And this wasn't targeted against you. This may have been targeted at some government agency or whatever. But guess what? Your systems are down as well. You're a big moving target, so there's an increased risk of outages. There's no direct hands-on to your data. I can turn around right now. I can grab a USB drive. I can turn around right now. I can plug in the back of my server. I can run some Linux commands. I can get the data off my web desk server in probably about 10 seconds. Okay, simple as that. It'd be behind a web desk server is a conventional Linux file system. We're not talking anything fancy. We're not talking about some crazy encryption system or any of this fancy stuff. No, it's a conventional Linux file system on the back end. So you can just plug into it and copy the data off it if you have physical access to the server. Simple as that. And we can't say it doesn't happen. Some cloud providers, I'm not going to mention the names, don't feel like getting sued, have lost customer data forever. And you can just look that one up on Google if you want to work out who did that crime against humanity, shall we say. So, what is it about web desk files? We have built web desk files as an on-premise virtual machine appliance. It's not just for sharing files, it's a web-based desktop as well, and there's a lot of other features built into it, and we'll show you that in a future video. There is no cloud dependence. There's a little bit of dependence when you first start it up, and when you first install it, it downloads a few updates and stuff like that. I'm on my honest guy, I'm going to tell you, download some updates when you install it, and it takes a while to download those updates. But once it's up and running, there is no cloud dependence. The global apocalypse can happen, and this thing's going to keep running. You could unplug this thing. You could take this thing on an airplane on a completely isolated, air-gapped network, and it's just going to work just fine. It's designed to work without the cloud, period. Unlike, all these other systems that are out there that are forcing you to basically store data on the cloud, we are completely cloud independent. You have direct local access to your data. Like I said, if I don't like web desk for whatever reason, I'm just sick of it, I can plug a USB drive into the back of my machine, run some Linux commands, copy data off. Done. We're not using any crazy proprietary protocols. We're not scrambling your data. We're not locking you into web desk files. We're not doing any of these things that the cloud service providers are doing. We're not doing any of that. It is your data. You have access to it 24/7, 365. Period. Unless it's a hardware failure or something, you have access to your data 24/7. Distributed architecture. We have a distributed architecture the way WebDesk is designed. Essentially, we have application servers and we have display servers, and the architecture behind that is you can expand laterally and you can expand the system vertically as well. How much is it going to cost you guys? Let's show that, shall we? So if you want more information, surf on over to 907technology.com. I don't think anyone uses surf anymore. Just browse on over, I guess. Browse on over to 907technology.com for more information. Our evaluation version comes with a free 5-user evaluation. That's 5 sessions, 5 concurrent sessions logged into the system. That is free forever. If you want to use it at home to share files at home, if you want to install one in your basement or whatever, go ahead. It's 5 users forever. We don't care about the home users. You can use it forever and just use it to your heart's content. That's meant for an evaluation, and you can evaluate it as long as you want. Anything more than 5 users, if you're a small business and you install a 5-user version, you want to expand up, it's $100 per session per year for additional users. And you can go over to a web page and book a demo with us, or get more information on licensing right there at 907technology.com. And that is it. Thank you for viewing this video, and click on the links down below. Go to 907technology.com for more information on our great, wonderful web-based products, and I'll talk to you again soon.